And I'm like, I don't really give a shit anymore. I just want to talk and just talk to people and just like normal. And so it's not that I don't care. It's just that I just didn't want it to make the hassle, because it's like only like a few people listen to the show anyway. You know, the most people I've ever had listen to a show, I think, were like 2,000. And that was my show I did with, what's his name? Oh my God. Jack McEnroth. Yeah. I had 2,000 people listen to that show in like a week, and it was like crazy. But other than that, it's like, you know, maybe 100 people listen to the shows, you know, on average, I'd say. Some shows are less, some shows are more. And so it's like, I don't really feel like I need to put the effort out. So it's pretty bad. But because to me, it's like a hobby. But my point was, I'm sorry, I got sidetracked because that's what I do. 5 years ago when I started the show, I used to do it every single day. And it was easy for me to do that. And now, you know, trying to do this, of course, this is an experiment, trying to do one show a day for 365 days in a row for this entire year, 2015. It's difficult, but it's kind of cool, I think, to kind of go back and I'll be able to see what's been going on in my day every day for the past fucking year. It's like a blog or whatever. Lazy white privilege. Well, more like lazy half white privilege, but anyway. But I'm going to see I'm going to see if this works or whatever. But my point is, it's difficult to find things to talk about every single day. Now, of course, there's news every single day. But there's not always things I want to talk about every single day. It's like, you know, I don't want to talk about every single fucking thing in my life. Oh, but my husband and I watch a show called Celebrity Apprentice. We love to watch it because of the celebrities that are on there and how much they, you know, fight and shit. And we both cannot stand Donald Trump. I mean, I can barely stand to look at the man. I hate him. I really just think he's the most horrible person on the face of the planet. And he really is just, and even when he talks, that mouth, it's like open like a big donut, and his hair and his face and, you know, the way he talks and shit, it just drives me fucking nuts. But anyway, so we watched that show only because of the people who were on it. And, well, thanks, JP. I hope you are. We watched that show just because of the people who are on it. So this season they have, Lisa Gibbons from like Entertainment Tonight or whatever, and they have Brandy Glanville from Housewives of Beverly Hills. They have Kenya Moore from Housewives of Atlanta. They have Geraldo Rivera, whom I cannot stand, and now I just literally want to take a fucking gun and shoot it. I mean, seriously, the man is the most egomaniacal, egotistical, arrogant, know-it-all asshole you have ever met in your fucking life. I mean, and I've even read articles about him, about his ex-wives, talking about how arrogant and how egotistical he was. And he was an egomaniac. He really is an egomaniac. It's totally obvious on the show. He's impossible to work with. And so I literally mean an egomaniac. I'm not just using that as a euphemism or whatever, or he really is a fucking nut, okay? Anyway, he's like a Fox News, you know, correspondent dude. And so all the people giving him money are like Sean Hannity and Bill O'Reilly and people I can't fucking stand. So anyway, he's on the show. We watch it for him. And I don't know. There's other people. Oh, what's his name? Gilbert Gottfried's on there. And some people I don't know are on there. But it's a good show. But we watch that. What other reality shows do I watch? I watch Survivor. We watch Amazing Race. We watch, I don't know, we watch a lot of reality TV. All of the housewife shows, we watch all of those. So we like to watch our brain candy, you know. It's just like, you know, to rot the brain. It's not real serious shit. Now, I like to watch serious documentaries and stuff at night when he's sleeping, you know, because he goes early in the morning usually to work. You know, I'm up late or early, and I watch on Netflix like a bunch of documentaries about like, you know, food, or like, you know, what's in our food, or documentaries about gay people or gay icons, or the 80s in New York, or you know, I love that's one of the things I'm obsessed with is like the 80s in New York City, the early 80s, like the late 70s, early 80s. I'm obsessed with that era because I think I don't know if I talked about this. I don't know if I talked about this in my head or if I actually said this on my show. That's one of the problems with me, because I'll have thoughts in my head throughout the day, and I'm thinking it. Then later on, I think I've already said it, and I don't say it on my show. Or sometimes I'll say it on my show thinking I'd said it in my head, and I actually didn't say it on the show. So I don't know what the fuck I'm saying. So if I've said this already and repeating myself, excuse the fuck out of me. But I love that era because to me, it was like the 60s of our our decades or our epic or whatever. The 60s in New York City was like, not just in New York City, but in the world, was kind of like a burst and boom of art and culture because of the strife people were going through in terms of civil rights, etc. And I think the early 80s were the same way in New York City. And so people like Madonna and Keith Haring and Andy Warhol and of course Studio 54 and all that kind of stuff. Lazarus. Now, people from that era just fascinate me to shit. I don't know why. I always told my friends I was born at the wrong time. I should have been born 10 years earlier, so I could have experienced the 80s. Of course, if I had been born 10 years earlier, I probably would be dead from the AIDS crisis or something, because most people in that era who were gay did end up dying. Not most. Let me rephrase that. A lot of people from New York City in that time period certainly died as a result of the AIDS crisis in the early 80s. But I certainly love it there. But I'm sorry you're so biased against New York City, JP. I like it a lot. Of course, it's not the New York City it once was. In New York these days is like it's like a big Pottery Barn or a big fucking it's just not the gritty New York it was in the early 80s or even the early 90s. It's just like a different place, and it's lost its charm in a lot of ways. All the shops, the mom and pop shops are dwindling away because of the Pottery Barns and the big mammoth corporations putting their shops there. It's just kind of sad in a way. It's losing something. It's losing its edge. It's losing its appeal, I think, in a lot of ways that it once had. But I don't know. What do you think about it? I think it's I don't know. That's just how I feel about it. But I still like to go there and visit. It's always fun to visit. And it's a beautiful place. I mean, in its own way, a beautiful place. I also like Paris. I love Paris. I love, even though it smells like piss everywhere, I love Paris. It's a gorgeous city. The people are all right. And every time you go there and you try to speak French to them, they just start speaking English to you, even if you can speak French, because everybody there speaks English. I mean, yeah, they do. What else do I like? I love local farms. I love getting my food from local farms that are sustainable and organic and all that kind of stuff. There's a service here in Dallas that delivers called Greenling, and you can get all organic foods, natural foods that are locally grown. Of course, they cost a fucking arm and a leg, but who cares? It's worth it. What else do I want to talk about? I guess that's it. See, this is what happens on a show like this, because I talk so much about shit, then I run into a day where I have nothing to say and I do nothing but ramble. But I don't care. It's my show. I do what the fuck I want. So what else is on here? Let's see what's on Facebook real quick before I go. If anything. Let's see. We have... Ooh, that's a frightening picture. I'm maybe going to mention what that was. Oh, my God. Okay. Okay, there's... Okay, I don't know. This is totally sexist, but I just don't think it's attractive for women to have hairy legs, okay? I just don't think it's attractive for women to have hairy legs. Now, is it their right to have their legs hairy if they want? Yes. To have hairy armpits if they want? Yes. To have hair wherever they want? Absolutely. It's their right and it's natural, but there's a lot of things that are natural that are disgusting, like childbirth and vaginas and a lot of other stuff. But I don't know. To me, I just think women should be smooth and feminine or whatever. If I were a woman, I would be the most feminine woman in the world. I would be like girly girl. And, I would not be a tomboy by any means. Of course, as a guy, I'm really I'm kind of in between. I'm not effeminate. I wouldn't say I'm an effeminate, but I'm certainly not hyper masculine. And those kind of guys annoy me, especially the gay guys who are like, hey dude, hey dude, hey, you want to hang out? Let's fuck or whatever, such shit like that. Just gay guys who are just so hyper masculine. It's fake. And it's hilarious to me when I encounter them, because it's you do suck dick, right? And not that I'm talking about now or dating. I'm just saying, generally speaking, it's they act all straight or hetero, and straight acting, as they put, or whatever, or they say, and that's so offensive to me. I think guys should just be whatever they are, whether they're feminine or whether they're masculine or whether they're in between or whatever. Just be what the fuck you are, Be whatever you want to be. Just let your freak flag fly, as I always say, because absolutely people are, different. And I think that's a good thing. Says the fairy queen. I hope you're talking about yourself, JP, and not me, because I am not a fairy queen. Sorry. I'm really not a queen. I'm really not. I've never been a queen. I've never been that way. Queens to me are like really bitchy, bitchy queens. That's what I think of when I think of a queen. A bitchy, like sardonic, like completely over it type, like, oh my God, I just can't go out because I can't find anything to wear or whatever. And just, oh my God, did you see what she was wearing? Or, oh my God, look at her house. I mean, that to me is like a queen, not me. Never been me, ever. Stop choking on that glitter, bitch. Whatever. I'm so not. If I were, I would own it though. I mean, that's just how I am. As I was saying, if I were a queen, I would be a queen, but I'm not. So I am just what I am, whatever, can't help it. Anyway, I really have nothing to say tonight. I really had nothing to say all this whole show. I just wanted to keep my promise and try to do a show once a day for a year. So I'm trying to keep my promises. So that's what I'm doing on the show. I want to say thank you to JD Productions for listening and keeping me company on early in this morning when no one's awake. And I wanted to say I'll be back tomorrow with another show, if you want to call it that. And I'll talk to you soon. Good night.